Good morning, everyone, and thank you for attending the monthly webinar here at Optfinity. Today, we'll be talking about outsourcing IT, and more particularly how all of us here at Optfinity handle the outsourcing aspect and why it's important to outsource and what outsourcing can do for your organization. There's a little housekeeping items to begin with. This webinar is being recorded and will be shared on YouTube, so we'll keep that in mind. As well as the fact that if you have any questions, there is a conversation component built into the Skype for Business application, and you can send a text message. It's usually on the left side of the screen as you're looking at it, and we'll be monitoring that conversation for any questions you may have as it regards the presentation. That being said, we'll go ahead and get started. I'll give you a little information. My name is Mike Drobnis. I am the CEO here at Optfinity. We've been in business since 2002 and worked with well over 200 clients since that time. Our organization is set up to offer an outsourced IT infrastructure as well as a IT-based project infrastructure to help organizations utilize technology in a way that makes them more efficient. We do that through our managed services, which we'll be talking about today, which involves a help desk as well as monitoring of servers and networks. We offer cloud solutions, mobile app development, website and software development, as well as phone systems. So we'll talk a little bit at first in general sense of why you should outsource IT and what is managed services. And then we'll talk about how we do it here at Optfinity and what makes us different and unique. The number one reason for offering an outsourced IT is to control costs. Obviously, when you have IT, you never know what's going to happen. Your systems could crash, you need to acquire new licenses, you need to implement solutions, whether it's cloud, whether it's email, etc. And so the problem is that as an organization, you have to make that determination of what you need, what it's going to cost. Do you buy too much? Do you do this? When you outsource that function, it becomes elastic. You have the ability to say, well, this is what I need today, and maybe tomorrow I need this. So if you're a 20-person organization today and you hire an IT person, and then all of a sudden you grow to be a 50-person organization, and that one person can't handle it anymore, when you're outsourcing that capability, it's not an issue because that company has the ability to ramp up because they're supporting multiple companies. As well, you reduce labor costs. When you're outsourcing, you don't have to focus on hiring people. You don't have to focus on hiring people for certain projects, for certain capabilities, components. You don't have to pay benefits. You don't have to worry about when they go on vacation. Who's going to take care of that for you? You don't have to worry about anything as it relates to having a physical employee, making sure they have computers, making sure they have accounts, make sure they are taken care of when it comes to policies. All of that is done by the outsourced organization. More particularly, you don't have to worry about keeping them trained, experienced, qualified, certified. You don't have to be sending them to conferences. You don't have to making sure that the experiences that this person has exceeds the experience that they're going to get within your organization. So, for example, you need someone who's really good at Microsoft. You need someone who's really good at Cisco. You need somebody who's really good at VPN capabilities and phone systems. When you outsource that, there are people out there in different capacities within an IT organization, such as Optfinity, where we have those expertise. So while one person in the company is working on one thing, if you need someone's expertise, we can take it from another person. When you hire one person for a small organization, they're not going to have all those expertise. So that's very important to consider. Same thing is that when you have an IT employee who is in your organization, no matter what they have for an experience, the issue is that they're only going to know what goes on in your organization. At Optfinity, we're dealing with 50, 60 organizations. Our experiences in those other organizations help our experiences in other organizations. So if we are at an ABC company and we learn what's going on there as it relates to Office 365, we can apply that. When you have an internal IT person, they're not going to have those experiences. So the only experiences they're going to have is as they make a mistake or as they learn on the job. Same issue comes down to increasing efficiency and competitiveness. Well, again, if you have these items here and you want to implement a new messaging application, whether it's a Slack or whether it's migrating to Office 365 or Google Apps, all of the research, the development in doing that is something that you have to do. It's something you have to do internally unless you outsource it. Well, that takes money, that takes time, and that increases your costs, which then increase your cost to your customers. And so obviously, by keeping it more efficient, by outsourcing it, you don't have to worry about that. You know what your costs are, they're budgetable, especially if you're dealing with an organization like Optfinity, and you save money in the long run. You can quickly implement new technology. Well, again, if you have one person and you want to implement a new project, well, they have to make sure that they're supporting everyone that they were originally hired to do before they can do that. Well, with an IT company, we already have the project plan in place. We already know this. We've been doing this. We can just come in and get it done. It saves you time. It saves you money. Probably the biggest and most important reason is you can stay focused on your core business. If your job as a manager within an organization is to handle IT issues, handle IT decisions, people complaining about slowness, people complaining that they can't get their job done because their computer isn't good, that takes away from what you need to focus on, whether it's HR, whether it's operations, no matter what the issue is, that is something you need to focus on. By outsourcing it, you can focus on those issues. Your employees can call their outsourced provider when they need help, and everything is taken care of. Additionally, it reduces your risk, because now that risk and that industry knowledge and that security, especially as it deals with HIPAA compliance for medical firms or PCI compliance if you take credit cards, all of that expertise and experience is already there when you outsource. You don't have to learn it. You don't have to pay to remain up to date and knowledgeable about it. It takes care of it. Additionally, as a small organization, you only have so many resources. So if you need access to certain technology and expertise that a large company has, you can't do that because you don't have that capability. When you go to an outsourced IT, if you need a system to monitor and manage your machines, that's already provided by them. You'd have to buy that yourself. You want to manage patching, already provided, you'd have to buy that. You want to manage backups, you want to manage antivirus monitoring, you want to manage anti-malware, you want to monitor your firewalls, your devices. All of those things that a larger company does internally because they have the resources, you would have to buy separately. When you add all of that up and the employee, you're going to be spending 3 to 4 times what you would by outsourcing the IT function. And then, of course, compliance. Are you making sure your firewall's up to date? Do you audit your information? Are you outsourcing your compliance standards? There are so many different things. We put a link in here as well, where you have to be doing these things. And if you're not doing those things, there are a variety of issues you could be dealing with. One is obviously security, hackers, but more importantly is you could be getting large fines, whether it's from the FTC or Health and Human Services, depending upon what your issue is. So these are all very important reasons to why you should outsource your IT. Now, I'm not saying there aren't other reasons to maintain it in-house, and there are definitely some, but you need to make that comparison. So at Optfinity, we've been doing this for 15 years. And so we're going to talk about what we do and why we do it and what is different about the Optfinity way. So what is SolutionCare? Honestly, it's a term we came up with 15 years ago when we used to be known by the name SolutionWorks, so it actually fit, but we still believe in it, which is that our solution is caring for your IT needs. So it's a simple philosophy, which is that we provide everything you need for a single flat rate based upon the number of employees and the systems you have. There's no hourly charges. I mean, if there are projects, that's one thing, but everything is budgetable. You know what it is. It's 100% proactive. There are people available 24 hours a day, minus holidays. And there are people available 24 hours a day to actually monitor your systems. But for calling support, there's 7 holidays we take off. But other than that, there's always somebody there. And whether your system crashes, whether you have a project coming up and you need help, your fees don't go up. It's a completely budgetable solution. What are some of the advantages? Well, it's unlimited support. Okay, not too many places you can go and you say, hey, I just want support and I'm going to keep asking for it and get it. That's what we offer. Our help desk is staffed both locally and remote to make sure we have enough coverage. Everybody's in North America. The average hold time is less than 3 minutes. After hours, you have a 1-hour callback support if, for example, the help desk is tied up. But again, with an average hold time of less than 3 minutes, unless you're calling on Monday mornings, there's always somebody available. We're certified small business specialists. We have on-site and on-call system engineers. And again, if we need to come on-site, there is no additional cost. It's a benefit we provide. We are monitoring your systems 24 hours a day. We're monitoring your network, your server, the administration of the systems, your desktops. We're doing vulnerability scans. We're monitoring your storage, your hardware. We're making sure all your applications are patched. Obviously, if you've been following the news with ransomware, the biggest issue with ransomware was that systems had vulnerabilities that were in fact fixed, but people weren't patching their systems. So that became extremely important. We need to make sure you do that. We take care of all of that as part of the service we provide. Other things that we put in there that not everybody does that we think is important. One, all email, whether you're using 365, Google Apps, all email goes through a filtering process. It's a hosted-based process, so we can make sure that the viruses and the other things that come through are inspected even before they get to the Microsoft and the Googles and other ones as a secondary layer of protection. We're offering spyware protection. We utilize Malwarebytes to make sure that spyware is not taken over there. Antivirus, we use heuristic-based antivirus, not definition-based, where you have to worry about, did they already figure out what it was and so forth, but instead behavioral-based antivirus. It looks for behaviors of files and stops them, as opposed to, oh, well, we have identified it, we're going to stop it. It is much more secure. Does it have false positives? Absolutely. But a false positive is a lot better than wondering why a hospital can't service its patients for the next week because it has a huge ransomware issue. Firewall monitoring. You need to make sure that the firewall, which is your first line of protection between the internet and your office, is being taken care of. It's up to date, it's modern, it's utilizing what it is, and its firmware and everything has been patched and handled appropriately. Some of the benefits. Well, obviously, predictable IT budgeting, especially for a lot of associations we work with, knowing what your costs are going to be, knowing that you have the ability to say, this is what my IT costs are. If we hire more employees, we know it's going to add on X. If we need to do a project, it's going to include this. Everything is predictable. You reduce costly downtime because everything is being proactive. We're making sure things stay up and running. And so, as you can imagine, there's a huge cost if everybody shows up at the office on Monday morning and nothing is running. We're monitoring it 24 hours a day so that when people show up on Monday, they can expect and realistically believe that the server is going to be running and that they'll be able to work. 30-person organization showing up with no computers, no servers, well, it's obviously very costly to them. Everything we do is dependable. We have a system-driven process. Everything is ticket-driven so that we always know what's happening, who's working on it, what's going on. So these are all benefits of the service that we provide. Other things that we do. We meet quarterly. Every quarter, as long as the client is able to meet, we will sit down with the CEO, CFO, COO, and we will say, this is what happened over the last 3 months. This is what happened over the last 6 months. This is what you need to do over the next 6. You have any projects. We need to worry about refreshing machines. We need to implement a new technology. We do this, we review, we figure out what makes sense from a business perspective to improve technology. Every month, we're going to provide you with reports. It's going to tell you who's doing what, how much data is being utilized, where we have to worry about storage, anything else you can imagine. We're going to help you with budgeting. You tell us you need 3 machines. We're going to tell you what it's going to cost, how quickly we can get it. We're going to put together a process that allows you to handle that. If you deal with industry compliancy, again, PCI compliance or HIPAA compliance, we're going to go through what those processes are and what we can do to make sure you're maintaining that. We're going to manage your vendors. Yes, you may work with QuickBooks. Maybe you have cell phone providers. But when you have an issue, your employees can call us and we will deal with the vendor. We will figure out what those issues are. We will sit on the phone. We will make sure that gets taken care of. Even though we have a budgeted standard rate, flat rate, every invoice is detailed, showing you all the tickets that were done that month. So you know what's getting done, what's being taken care of. We provide policies and procedures. We provide procedures on how to do things with your technology, documentation, as well as we can provide you with some policies that you might want to implement within your organization. All of our solutions require some level of disaster recovery. So whether it's a server and where we offer a BDR device, or if it's a cloud-based solution just backing up the data, every client is going to make sure that their data is backed up, it's encrypted, it's secure, and it's off-site. And hardware and software procurement, again, we're going to do the research. We're going to help you find the items. We're going to get those items purchased for you. And all of this is included in our flat rate. Other things that we do, well, quarterly lunch and learns. We sometimes do it more often than quarterly, but we offer lunch and learns. They are a nominal fee, but for our customers and our clients, they're free, they're included. And so we'll talk about things that affect businesses. It could be everything from how to utilize technology to market your business, to social media, to website tips and tricks, to the best way to secure your data. We offer monthly webinars, like the one we're obviously doing now. These are more focused on training, so maybe tips and tricks with Excel, PowerPoint, any type of technology. And if you have ideas, we'd love to take those. Every computer includes LogMeIn access through our monitoring software so that we are providing a remote solution for those awful winters we have here in Washington, D.C. with 2 inches of snow. I do say that sarcastically, of course. But obviously, we're providing you those capabilities so that you can maintain your business utilizing the technology we provide for you. As I talked about the BDR device, a lot of people that have servers, and what happens if that server goes down? Well, obviously, backups are important. Our BDR device is literally copying that server multiple times a day. So should the server go down, our device becomes that server. Literally becomes that server. So within a span of a few minutes, we turn that machine on, we figure out why the other machine went down, we can begin working on it, but nobody has any downtime. Every night, that backup is sent through a fully encrypted channel off to the data center, and we handle that. What are the benefits? Obviously, you have redundancy, you have automatic virtual boot up, so we can make sure that the backup is done. I couldn't tell you how many times, especially back in the days of tape, where people would say, yep, we've been doing backups for 3 years, nobody ever tested it, and the backups were not actually working. The machine said they were, the log said they were, but they weren't. So you have to consider what is it that you can do that. So all of these things and all these benefits are included with our solution. And then the last item I'm going to touch upon here is everything we do, as I mentioned, is system driven, is project plan driven, and so that we're taking the experiences we've learned to apply to our clients. So our onboarding process is a 60-step, it's actually like 64 steps, but it's a 60-step onboarding process. So we literally know this has to happen, then this, and you can't do this without that. It's assigned to different people, both in our organization as well as in our client's organization. Make sure that we get all of the data we need to be able to support our clients and be able to do it right. All of our processes are driven. We have over 200 that are documented within our organization to make sure that we're efficient and that our clients are efficient as well. So again, trying to stay with our typical webinars, which are short, sweet, and to the point. That talks about why you should outsource, talks about what we do here at Optfinity. One of the things we didn't talk about, which we recently implemented and need to add to this, is we also provide security training as part of it, included within the price, where we will test and train our clients' employees to make sure that they're not opening emails they shouldn't, they're not surfing websites they shouldn't, and we also have the tools and technology included in there to make sure they don't. A lot of that stuff we don't put out there because we try to keep it relatively under wraps to make sure that things are getting done, but we'd be more than happy to answer any questions. We do have a couple of questions here. First question, one we're always going to get, is what does it cost? And I can't give you a specific answer without knowing the details. A 10-person organization with one server in their office is going to be priced a lot differently than a 10-person organization with 10 servers in their office, running different financial applications and so forth. So the pricing is really going to depend on that, but I can tell you that when you break it down, you're spending probably around 50 cents an hour per employee to provide all of these tools, all the licenses, all the software, and everything else to each employee within your organization. And that's a good ballpark, some a little less. It could be more, again, if you have 10 servers and we have to do 10 BDR devices or 10 different virtual machines, the cost of storage and so forth goes up. The key thing to remember when it comes to price, though, is once we give you that price, that is the price. And so we build into that what it's going to take to do so. Let's see. Other questions that have come in is the types of technology, do they change? In some cases, they do. We have changed antivirus products in the past when we realized that one wasn't staying as up to date than others. We do standardize on all of our products, so every one of our clients, we go in there, we're providing a specific firewall. So right now, and for the last 12 years, we've been using SonicWall. So all of our clients, we're going in there, we're providing SonicWall as the firewall of choice. We know it, it works well, it handles what we want to do. But we do standardize on different processes and products, and they do change on occasion. But again, as I just said, it's been 12 years of using one particular firewall. It's worked well. We've never had any major problems. So unless something better comes along, we don't make that change. All right. Well, at this point, I do not see any other questions. I do want to remind people that we do these webinars once a month. If you're not if you're not on our newsletter, go to our website, sign up for our newsletter. You'll see what other webinars are coming up. We typically don't do too many lunch and learns over the summer just because of everybody traveling, but there is going to be a couple probably in the September, October timeframe. So I do recommend getting on the newsletter to see about those lunch and learns and find that out. And if you have any other questions, whether it's about our phone system solutions, which again, we offer that, we can come in, we'll take a look at your phone systems at no cost to you. We'll come back with some solutions from different providers, again, at no cost to you. And we just do that as a service to the community and obviously to our clients. So it looks like there are no additional questions. I do thank all of you for coming in today, and this will be posted somewhere on our YouTube channel. In the meantime, I hope you all have a good weekend, and we will see you next month.